Recruiting visits are happening all over the country, and a surprise number one positional player will be now visiting Alabama in a couple of weeks. Stick around. Let's talk about it. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to your favorite Alabama source. All things Alabama. We do everything the other guys do, just a little differently. Welcome to Way Offsides. That's Way Offsides with 4 A's, never 3. 3's not enough, and 5 is too many. You guys are here because you want to talk about recruiting, so we're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, please consider following us on social medias. That's going to be at Way Offsides on all socials. Facebook, we have a Facebook page, our Instagrams, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and a couple of TikToks. Be sure to follow Chris, Jeff, myself, and if you haven't, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you know whenever there's breaking news. We have put in a couple of official predictions so far this recruiting cycle, one of which has already hit. Let's take a look at our Whoop chart, our Whoop board. For those of you who don't know what a Whoop board is, it's a Way Offsides official prediction. These are guys that we believe and feel confident will, at some point in time, verbally commit to Kalen DeBoer and the University of Alabama. As you can see, we've got 4 guys whooped right now, and every one of them are 5 stars. Jordan Edmonds, who is actually verbally committed already and actively recruiting. Xavier Crowell, Cedarian Morgan, they are both on official visits at Georgia this weekend. Both will take OVs to Alabama later in the summer. It is believed that they will both be committed verbally to Alabama before the summer is out. And then number one linebacker, Xavier Griffin, who recently decommitted from USC, but is now Alabama seems to be the landing spot for him. He is on an official visit at Ohio State. Now, there's going to be a lot of more whoops coming before summer's over as these official visits go on. We're looking at some really interesting names right now, some guys that are we're leaning to other schools. Some of them are leaning to rivalry schools. A couple of names right off the top of my head that would be Trenton Henderson, KJ Ford. Those are guys that we want to keep an eye on. Nolan Wilson, somebody else that we want to keep an eye on. Xavier Tiller. Just there's a lot of Xaviers in this class, or Xaviers. But Alabama is recruiting its ass off right now. Excuse the language. There's just no other way to say it. They are doing something pretty incredible, and you guys love to talk recruiting, and so that we talk about it a lot. We do have some sources that kind of feed us information, but a lot of what we do is kind of following visits. We talk about that a lot. Follow the visits, and in Alabama's case, a lot of people I've seen all day today on X are kind of getting in their feels. They're a little worried because Xavier Crowell's posting pictures of him with Kirby Smart. You've got Xavier Griffin posting pictures of him in the garnet and gray or whatever the hell they wear up there in Ohio. And people are like, well, this is making me nervous. Well, look, that's the name of the game. Listen, NIL now allows, I'm not saying this is the case with these guys, but NIL does allow for players to get paid to go on visits. And I believe that was happening a lot last season. I have it on a pretty solid source that Auburn was doing that last year, paying guys to come on OVs, paying for commitments, things like that. They lost some of those guys as it got closer to National Signing Day. We tell you all the time, follow the visits. All of these guys they have OVs scheduled later on for Alabama. We all know that the dates that they're going to make their decisions, they're all after. The only one that I'm a little nervous about is Xavier Griffin because Alabama's not his last visit. But because Wilt Fong and company are so high on him landing with the Crimson Tide, we went ahead and put in a whoop for him too. We'll see how that goes. But we've shown you in other videos the list of kids that are in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Compliments of Recruits Bama, our friends over at Recruits Bama. The group is headlined by 5-star Jet Washington, another name that you kind of want to keep an eye on. I don't know that Bama's going to close that deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, if there was going to be a surprise in this 2026 class to flip to Bama or to commit to Bama with other players involved. He's one to watch out for. There are some guys that will probably commit later down the road that I think Alabama will get. Anthony Tank Jones is one of those I think Alabama could potentially be a very strong candidate for. That battle is between him and Auburn, or Bama and Auburn. But there's somebody else that Bama's been in contention for that they are now going to get a surprise visit basically from on campus the weekend of June 13th. We just did a short and posted it. And that is the number one wide receiver in the 2026 class, Tristan Keys. Now, Tristan Keys is he has kind of been all over the place, to be honest with you. He's visited a lot of different places. The Hattiesburg wide receiver. He's 6'2", 185 pounds, number one receiver in the country, number one player out of the state of Mississippi. It seems like, he is verbally committed to LSU right now. You've got Booby Feaster on campus right now, who has now said, even though he kind of seemed like he was verbally committed to LSU, he's now said that it's going to be a decision that he's got to make soon between LSU and Alabama. It's going to be a very tough decision. So we'll see what that looks like with Feaster, Sedarian Morgan. I thought, this is just my thoughts, I thought that Alabama would probably take 2 receivers in this class, but they could take 3. There's plenty of room. Now that wide receiver room is crowded. So take that for what you will. If Alabama goes and gets a couple of guys, especially some of these bigger name wide receivers that they're in play for, the 3 right now are Tristan Keys, Sedarian Morgan, who is likely going to land at Bama. And then if they can land Ethan Booby Feaster, that would be absolutely dirty work by Kalen DeBoer. But Alabama's not going to get everybody. They're not going to get all 3 of them, and that's okay. LSU will probably pick up a couple of them, and I think Tristan Keys will stick with the Tigers, and here is why. Keys will visit Alabama on the 13th, but he will also visit LSU the weekend after, I believe it's the 20th. LSU currently is the leader in his recruitment. You've got Ole Miss, USC, Alabama, Tennessee, all in play. USC has made some movement on him. Ole Miss, obviously, he's a Mississippi kid, so Ole Miss is pretty attractive. But I don't know that Alabama really needs a Tristan Keys, especially if they're able to flip Booby Feaster, land Sedarian Morgan. They've got some other wide receivers that'll be visiting over the summer, some 4-star guys who will likely probably get bumped at some point in time to 5 stars. So I think Alabama's sitting, obviously, with what they currently have on roster, Alabama's sitting very pretty at the wide receiver position. But it's I don't know, it's just very promising, getting some of these kids on campus nowadays, especially with the ability for coaches or boosters or whoever to pay the players for these visits, and Alabama being able to get the caliber players that they're getting on campus is pretty substantial. It's pretty amazing. I mean, that right now you've got 2 of the top 3 players in the state of Alabama who are predicted to land at Alabama. You've got the number 1 linebacker in the country predicted to Alabama. There's a chance Alabama's going to go after the number 1 safety in the country. They may, be able to get a commitment out of Jet Washington. We'll see if that stands. But my story that with Alabama fans trying to calm your nerves about are these guys, these Alabama targets going on other visits, applies to Bama too. So, if Jet Washington is favored to land at Oregon or Washington or USC or wherever, keep in mind he's going to take other official visits too. And the best way to do this consistently is to follow those visits, see where they've visited the most, especially on official visits. And so in terms of Tristan Keys, I think LSU is the ultimate landing spot for him, but that remains to be seen. He's also considering other schools like Miami. I believe he just had a visit to Miami. It might have been this weekend, but let's look at his visit center per On3. Thank you, On3. No, he visited on the, yeah. So he's at Miami right now. He's actually visited Miami twice in the past month. He's visited Auburn, Ole Miss. He has visited Miami a lot. He's actually only had a couple of visits to Alabama. Now, what's interesting is he's only had 1 visit to LSU moving into this. which is pretty interesting. The school he's visited the most is going to be Ole Miss. He's visited Auburn 3 times. He's visited the U 3 times, Tennessee twice, Alabama twice, LSU once, Texas A&M once. So we'll see the work that Alabama's able to do when they get him on campus. Obviously, looking at all the stuff on social media with the guys that are there right now, it's really cool to see the future of Alabama and the current guys at Alabama being heavily involved in recruitment. Derek Meadows has been posting up pictures with recruits, Ryan Williams, Keelan Russell, Dijon Lee Jr. A lot of them have, and that's really promising because it tells me that they're bought in to what Kalen DeBoer and the staff want to do, and they're trying to build something pretty remarkable in Tuscaloosa. And I think that they're well on their way. I think that this year is going to be it's going to make a very loud statement from Alabama, not just during the season, but also in terms of recruiting. So thank you for sticking around the whole video. We do have a prediction update. The prediction update is basically like the 4 guys that we have predicted right now per our Whoop board. Jordan Edmonds, Xavier Crowell, Sadarian Morgan, Xavier Griffin. Those guys are all heavily favored to Alabama right now. And even though they're on official visits, I don't think it's going to change. Now, Alabama could end up losing one of them. In my semi-professional point of view, if they were, it could possibly be Xavier Griffin. That kind of sucks because that's the position that I think Alabama needs right now. But I think Bama lands all 3. Honestly, I think they get verbals within the next month and a half from all 3 of these guys. In fact, we've got Whoops put in, like I've showed you. We've got our official predictions put in for all of these guys. I think Bama's going to do the dang thing and get the job done on those official predictions. And I'm close. I'll tell you this. We're very close to putting in an official prediction for somebody else too. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You'll have to wait and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. But within the next couple of days, another prediction is going to be coming down for a very, very big Alabama target. So thank you guys. We absolutely adore and love each and every one of you. I know I do this at the beginning and ending of every video, but if you would please follow us on social media. We have our website. We haven't really posted anything this week. It's kind of been a busy week, but we'll get some articles and things posted up this coming week. Got some inside information that you guys will absolutely love. So we appreciate you. You are the best. You're the reason we do this. Thank you for sticking around and just being part of the Way Offsides family. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.